Hi, my name is Victor Virueña. I'm a student of Business Research Methodology, and I'm gonna give you a presentation about visualizing hypothesis testing. Today, we're gonna cover some important concepts and examples, like null and alternative hypothesis, creating hypothesis test, statistic visualization definition, visualization examples as tests for a mean, comparing two groups, efficiency comparison, correlational test, takeaways, and questions. Hypothesis is defined as a tentative yet testable statement which predict what you expect to find in your empirical data. A null hypothesis, HO, is a hypothesis set up to be rejected in order to support an alternate hypothesis, labeled HA. When used, the null hypothesis is presumed true until statistical evidence in the form of a hypothesis test indicates otherwise. Alternative hypothesis is the opposite to the null. It's a statement expressing a relationship between two variables or indicate differences between groups. Hypothesis testing includes four important steps. The first is to state the null and the alternate hypothesis. The second step is to choose the appropriate statistical test, depending on whether the data collected are parametric or no parametric. The step number three is determine the level of significance desired. For example, p equals 0.045 or more or less. Step number four is to see if the output results for computer analysis indicate that the significance level is met. When the resultant value is larger than the critical value, the null hypothesis is rejected and the alternate accepted. If the calculated value is less than the critical value, the null is accepted and the alternate is rejected. Statistic visualization is an important tool. According to Freeman, the main goal of data visualization is to communicate information clearly and effectively through the graphical means. Now, I'm going to present you some examples of visualizations. First one is tests for a mean. The research question is, on average, are the widgets from Acme Widgets Company defect-free? First of all, we need to establish the null hypothesis. In this case, the null hypothesis is the number of defective widgets is equal to 0, and the alternative hypothesis is the number of defective widgets is not equal to 0. Or example number 2 is comparing two groups. In this case, the research question is, does the average major league team have more home run hitters than its corresponding minor league team? Our null hypothesis is, league hitters are equal to minor hitters, and our alternative hypothesis is league hitters are less than or greater than minor hitters. Our third visualization example is efficiency comparison. The research question is, the efficiency curves on the red and blue teams were recorded. Do the teams have equal means efficiencies? The null hypothesis must be blue team efficiency is equal red team efficiency. And our alternative hypothesis is blue team efficiency is less or greater than the red team efficiency. Our example number 4 is the correlational test. A German study tests how larger industrial use vans utilize gasoline. One of their analysis plot mile per gallon (mpg) versus the weight of the various bands in the study. After plotting the data on a scanner plot, the researchers performed a correlational test and found a significant correlation. However, they forgot to state their hypothesis test in their published paper. The important question here is, what were the study null and alternative hypotheses? The null hypothesis must be MPG is not correlated with weight, and the alternative hypothesis must be MPG is correlated to weight. We have some important takeaways for this presentation. Creating hypothesis test, you must assume that the null hypothesis is correct until proven otherwise. You must accept the null hypothesis or you must reject the null hypothesis. Using visualization is an excellent tool to understand the hypothesis testing result. Researchers could use multiple software available to convert data results to visualization. Thank you for watching my presentation. Now, are there any questions?